Today we've got updated swing state polling from Emerson. Trump continues to maintain his lead, while in the Senate, the Democrats also continue to maintain the edge. So let's go through the data and see what we've got. This was taken June 13th through the 18th, so obviously a couple of weeks post-conviction. The sample size was 1,000 registered voters in each state. And what are those states? Well, it's the 6 major battlegrounds this time without North Carolina. That's going to be Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So this chart is not the easiest to see, but it does go back to November, so you can see how it's changed over time. In Arizona, Trump is up by 4, 47 to 43. That's the same as it was last month, and there Trump has held a lead throughout all these polls. In Georgia, Trump is up 4, 45 to 41. It's a 1-point increase from last month, and again, Trump has held a lead since back in November. In Michigan, it's pretty much tied. Trump is up 1, 46 to 45. That's the same margin as last month, and outside of back in November, Trump has held a lead every time. In Nevada, Trump is up 3, 46 to 43. That's a 2-point increase from last month. Trump has led ever since back in November. In Pennsylvania, it's very close. Trump is up 2, 47 to 45. That's identical to last month, and again, Trump has led since November. And in Wisconsin, Trump is up 3, 47 to 44. It's negligible, but a 1-point increase since last month. And in this state, Trump has been in the lead every month, except back in January, where he was down by 1. So these are the 6 states, and we've continued to see Trump in the lead. And while Trump leads in all these states, it's not by a significant enough margin. And there are enough undecideds to where it could go either way. But there's no question you'd rather beat Trump here than Biden. He's not at all getting 50% of the vote. But if the polling underestimates Trump in these states, like it has in many of them in the past, then theoretically Trump could be ahead by even more. So they go on to say this is their first poll since the Trump conviction, and there's been little movement. And the results do fall within the poll's margin of error. So the fallout from that conviction now, it's a few weeks ago. Out of all the polls I've seen, it did look like Biden may have gained a slight advantage, especially with independents. But on the whole, I would say it would only be about 1 point or so. Now, in a close race, 1 point could be the deciding factor. But I would guess Democrats were hoping for a lot more movement after that conviction. So this time, with independents, it says they break for Trump in all 7 states. However, there has been some movement among these voters since April. In Arizona, Trump's support among independents dropped 5 points, 48 to 43. In Michigan, it's dropped 3, 44 to 41. And in Pennsylvania, it's dropped a significant 49 to 41. Biden, however, has lost support with independents in Georgia by 6, 42 to 36, and Nevada by 5, 37 to 32. So that's similar to what I was saying. In the Rust Belt, independent support for Trump has shifted slightly toward Biden, but then in Georgia and Nevada, it's done the opposite. I never expected Trump's support to go up after the conviction. I always expected it to go down slightly, at least in the short term. 1 or 2 months later, it could easily just not have any impact as it fades into the background. So we do have a debate coming up. It's possible that moves the needle, or that doesn't change anything. Now, what about in the U.S. Senate? That's going to be key for whoever wins the White House. Well, this is similar to what we've seen in the past. Biden trails at the top of the ticket, while Democrats are in the lead in the Senate. First, we've got Arizona. Ruben Gallego is ahead by 4, 45 to 41. That's a slight improvement since April. But Gallego has held the lead since February, but we do have 14% undecided. There was one poll not that long ago that showed Gallego ahead by a massive margin. Comparing it to everything else, that one seems to be more so an outlier. But Gallego does appear to have the advantage. This time they threw in Minnesota, where they don't have a chart. There's also primaries still coming up, but Klobuchar is ahead by 11 over Royce White, 48 to 37. That one is not expected to be competitive. In Michigan, likely nominee Alyssa Slotkin is ahead by 4 over Mike Rogers, 43 to 39. Not a lot of movement here over the previous months, still 18% undecided. In Nevada, this is a big lead for Jackie Rosen. She's up 12 over Sam Brown, 50 to 38, 13% undecided. Nevada did have their primaries recently, and now we know for sure it's going to be Sam Brown for the Republicans. This one could be an outlier. I would not expect a 12-point win for Rosen, especially if Trump is ahead at the top of the ticket. But I would expect Rosen to be favored. She's the incumbent. Brown is just getting his campaign going. But either way, Rosen has got to be feeling good about this poll. In Pennsylvania, Bob Casey is ahead by 6, 47 to 41 over David McCormick, 12% undecided. Not a lot of movement here over the previous couple of months. That one I would think Casey should be able to hold on unless it turns into a huge red wave. And in Wisconsin, we've got the incumbent Democrat Tammy Baldwin ahead by 2 over Eric Hovde, 46 to 44. Hovde is the expected nominee for the GOP. That race has narrowed just a little bit since February, but of course Baldwin is going to start off with the advantage. So based on this, it looks like Trump is going to win the White House while Democrats are going to hold the competitive seats in the Senate. Of course, this does not include Montana and Ohio. Now, what about Biden's approval rating? Well, in all 6 of these states, it's under 40%, so that's pretty low. Arizona, it's at 36, Georgia 35, Michigan 39, Minnesota 38, Nevada 38, and Pennsylvania 39. Now they also have approval ratings for the state governors. In Arizona, Katie Hobbs is underwater by 7, 36 approve, 43 disapprove. In Georgia, Brian Kemp is looking popular. He's positive by 21, 49 approve, 28 disapprove. In Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer's not looking too bad. She's at 49 approve, 40 disapprove. In Minnesota, Tim Walz is at 45 approve, 42 disapprove. In Nevada, Joe Lombardo is at 37 approve, 30 disapprove, but a huge 33% are neutral. And in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro looking good there, 49 approve, 29 disapprove. Then they ask about a ballot measure in Arizona and Nevada that would establish the constitutional right to an abortion. In Arizona, 56% would vote yes, 26 no. In Nevada, 58% say yes, 20% no. So it looks like those two are very likely to pass. Now, Arizona also has a ballot measure that would allow state and local police to arrest non-citizens who cross the border unlawfully and allow state judges to order deportations. That also looks likely to pass. 55% would vote yes, 29 no. And then the most important issue for each state is generally going to be the economy, followed by immigration. And finally, they ask how the conviction of Donald Trump and Hunter Biden might affect their vote. For Donald Trump, all it says is a plurality in all states say it has no impact on their vote. And for Hunter Biden, it's a little stronger. A majority in each state say it has no impact on their vote. So that is the Emerson polling. Down here we have the methodology. And of course, at the very bottom, you can click on full results to get a spreadsheet of some of the crosstabs and demographic breakdown. So based on this, Trump has remarkably held steady through the trial, even after the conviction. The needle is just not moving that much. Now, it's possible there could have been more movement after the conviction if voters were more satisfied with how their lives are going and if Biden's approval rating was higher. But we've seen a lot of dissatisfaction with the way things are going, and that seems to be indicative that it's a referendum on the party in power. That's usually how it goes, and voters are not really all that satisfied. Now, as we get even closer to the election, I always say Trump has been known to ignite voters for him and against him. So there could be a segment of the electorate that the polls are just not capturing right now, but they're going to come out in the end and support Biden just to vote against Trump. Abortion could also be a factor, but the polling has underestimated Trump in the past. There's a lot of different things out there. We've got to give it some more time, and of course, this is just one poll. Take a look at others, take a look at the aggregates, but just based on this, if the election were held today, it seems more likely that Trump would be able to pull out a win. But we're going to see what happens, so let me know in the comments, what do you think about this Emerson polling? Did you expect to see Trump ahead in all 6 states? Were you thinking Biden might have been able to make some inroads? What about in the Senate, where Democrats are also ahead in all the states? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.